Welcome to the world of tennis, to the millions watching across the Philippines, and to every single sports fan who believes in the impossible. We are live. We are witnessing history. And quite frankly, we are witnessing a mathematical and athletic anomaly that has left the entire Women's Tennis Association, the pundits, and the global fan base completely stunned. Stop what you're doing. Look at the numbers. Look at the headlines. Because what we are reporting today is not just a ranking update. It is a seismic shift in the hierarchy of Asian tennis. The headline is real. The whole world is surprised. Alexandra Eala, the 20-year-old phenom from Quezon City, the pride of the Philippines. The southpaw who's been grinding in the trenches of the ITF and the lower rungs of the WTA for years has done it again. But this time, she hasn't just broken a record. She has shattered the glass ceiling into 1,000,000 pieces. As of this very moment, in the live, real-time computations of the WTA rankings, Alex Eala has climbed to world number 43. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Number 43. Not top 100. Not top 60. She is knocking on the door of the top 40 players on planet Earth. This is a new career high. This is the highest ranking ever achieved by a Filipino tennis player, male or female, in the open era. But here's the twist. Here's the part that has the analysts scratching their heads and the history books rewriting themselves as we speak. She achieved this ranking today, in the middle of the Australian Open, despite a heartbreaking 3-set loss in the first round to Alicia Parks just yesterday. How does that happen? How do you lose a match on the biggest stage in the Asia-Pacific, walk off the court in tears, and wake up the next morning ranked higher than you have ever been in your life? How do you climb 6 spots while sitting in the locker room? That is the mystery we're going to unravel today. Because to understand this moment, to understand why rank 43 is trending across social media, why Manila is celebrating, and why the tennis world is buzzing, you have to look beyond the scoreboard of yesterday's match. This isn't about one match against Alicia Parks. This is about a perfect storm of consistency, grit, and the chaotic beauty of the WTA point system colliding with the rise of a superstar. We are seeing the fruits of a legendary 2025 season, that run to the Miami Open semifinals, the wins over Grand Slam champions, the relentless touring, finally cashing in. While other players are defending points and sliding down the ladder, Eala is standing tall. She is a rock in the river. The world is surprised? Maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe we should have seen this coming. Think about the context. Just a few years ago, we were celebrating her junior Grand Slam titles. We were hoping, just hoping, she could crack the top 200. We watched her grind to qualifiers in drizzly ITF tournaments in Europe. We watched her battle injuries. We watched the critics say she didn't have the power or the serve or the stamina to hang with the big hitters on the main tour. And now, she is sitting at number 43. She is ranked higher than established veterans. She is ranked higher than players she grew up idolizing. She is officially in the elite tier where she no longer needs to beg for wild cards. She no longer needs to survive the brutal qualifying draws. She is now a main draw staple. She is a target. This news, breaking just hours ago, changes everything for the rest of her 2026 season. It changes her seedings for the upcoming tournaments in the Middle East and the Sunshine Double. It changes the way opponents scout her. But most importantly, it changes the belief system of an entire nation. For the Philippines, a country that breeds basketball and boxing, Alex Eala has carved out a third pillar of national pride. She has shown that a Filipino can stand toe-to-toe with the giants of Europe and the powerhouses of America on the tennis court. So buckle up. We're going to go deep today. We are not just reading the ranking list. We're going to dissect the mathematics of this rise. We're going to analyze the Australian Open performance that preceded it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about the home court advantage she had in Melbourne with that insane crowd support. And we're going to look at the road ahead. Why is the world surprised? Because they looked at the loss. Why are we celebrating? Because we are looking at the climb. Alex Eala at rank 43. It is real, it is live, and it is spectacular. Stay tuned. This is the deep dive you've been waiting for. The mathematics of the miracle, how she hit number 43. Let's get right into the technical weeds. because I know many of you are confused. I've seen the comments. She lost in round 1. How did she go up? Is the system broken? No, the system isn't broken. The system is rewarding consistency over time. To understand why Alex Eala is sitting at number 43 in the live rankings today, we have to understand the concept of dropping points. Tennis rankings are a rolling 52-week cycle. You are defending what you did exactly 1 year ago. If you won a tournament last year and you lose in the first round this year, you lose a massive chunk of points, and your ranking plummets. But here is the beauty of Alex Eala's situation. Last year, at this time, she was grinding in qualifiers. She didn't have a massive pile of points to defend at the Australian Open. So, when she stepped onto the court in Melbourne this week, she was playing with house money. Even with the loss to Alicia Parks, a match we will break down in a minute, she earned 10 points for the first round appearance. But the real reason she skyrocketed to rank 43 is what is happening around her. The players who were ranked between 40 and 50, many of them had massive points to defend from last year. Maybe they reached the 3rd or 4th round of the Australian Open in 2025. This year, they lost early. Boom, their points vanished. They slid down the elevator. And as they slid down, Alex Eala, buoyed by her massive semifinal run in Auckland just 2 weeks ago, stayed steady. She floated up as the others sank. This is a live ranking phenomenon. It is dynamic. It changes match by match. And right now, the math has aligned perfectly for the Filipino star. We also have to talk about the Auckland performance. That was the catalyst. Just 10 days ago, Eala was in New Zealand for the ASB Classic. She didn't just play, she dominated. She took down Magda Linette, a seasoned veteran. She marched into the semifinals. That result injected a massive dose of points into her account, pushing her into the top 50 for the first time officially. The Australian Open was supposed to be the cherry on top. It turned out to be a stumbling block, yes, but the foundation she built in Auckland was so strong, so robust, that it withstood the shock of the Melbourne loss. This is why we preach consistency. You cannot rely on one Grand Slam miracle. You build a ranking by showing up in January, in February, in qualifying, in 250s and 500s. Eala has done the work. Rank 43 isn't a gift. It's a paycheck for 12 months of labor. The Melbourne heartbreak, dissecting the Alicia Parks match. Now, we must address the elephant in the room. The match that just happened. Round 1, Australian Open 2026. Alex Eala versus Alicia Parks. If you watched this match, you went through a roller coaster of emotions. The first set was a masterclass. Eala came out firing. 6-0, a bagel. She made Alicia Parks, a player with a thunderous serve and immense power, look completely lost. Eala's return game was surgical. She was redirecting pace, finding sharp angles with that lefty forehand, and moving Parks around the court like a puppet master. At that moment, the Filipino crowd at Court 6, and let's talk about that crowd in a second, was in delirium. It felt like a coronation. It felt like she wasn't just going to win. She was going to cruise into the second round. But tennis is a game of adjustments. And Alicia Parks, to her credit, woke up. In the second set, the dynamic shifted. Parks started landing her first serves. When Parks lands her first serve, it's a weapon of mass destruction. It's 190, 200 kilometers per hour. Eala, who thrives on rhythm, suddenly had no rhythm to work with. It was serve, boom, point. Eala's level dropped slightly. Perhaps the nerves of the moment, the pressure of being the favorite after that first set, and Parks pounced. 3-6. Then came the decider, the third set. This is where champions are forged, and unfortunately, this is where Eala showed that she is still young, still learning. The physicality of Parks, the sheer weight of shot, began to wear Eala down. The unforced errors crept in. The serve percentage dipped. 6-0, 3-6, 2-6. It was a gut punch. To win the first set 6-0 and lose the match is one of the most painful ways to exit a Grand Slam. But here is the silver lining, and it brings us back to our headline. Even in defeat, she showed she belongs. She dominated a top 100 player for a full set. She didn't look out of place physically. She looked like a seed who had a bad day, not a rookie who got lucky. And the ranking computers agreed. They didn't punish her for the loss. They rewarded her for the season that brought her there. The home court advantage, the Filipino diaspora. We cannot talk about this week without highlighting the cultural phenomenon we witnessed at Melbourne Park. The Australian Open is often called the Grand Slam of Asia Pacific, but for Alex Eala, it felt like the Grand Slam of Manila. The scenes at Court 6 were unprecedented. We aren't talking about a polite golf clap. We are talking about a wall of noise. Hundreds, perhaps thousands, of Filipinos living in Melbourne queued for hours just to get a glimpse of her. Reports say the line to get into her court stretched halfway across the precinct. There were flags everywhere. The chanting, "Let's go, Alex," drowned out matches on adjacent courts. Eala admitted in her post-match interview that it was heartwarming but also overwhelming. And that is a crucial point of analysis. Playing for yourself is pressure. Playing for 115 million people, that is a different kind of weight. When you are 20 years old and you look into the stands and see the hopes of a nation on every face, it can be paralyzing. In the first set, she rode that energy. In the third set, when things got tight, you have to wonder if that pressure became heavy. But this is part of the learning curve. Manny Pacquiao learned to carry it. Li Na learned to carry it for China. Alex Eala is learning to carry it for the Philippines. The fact that she stayed after the match, despite the crushing loss, to sign autographs for longer than most losers ever would, speaks volumes about her character. She understands her role. She isn't just a tennis player. She is an ambassador. This connection with the fans is why her rise to rank 43 is so significant. It's not just a number for her. It's a validation for every single fan who bought a ticket, who woke up at 3 a.m. to watch a stream, who commented on her Instagram. The 2025 context, the road to the top 50. To truly appreciate this rank 43 milestone, we need to rewind and look at the year of the breakout, 2025. If 2024 was a struggle, 2025 was a breakthrough. Remember the Miami Open? That was a turning point. A WTA 1000 event, the biggest tier outside of slams. Eala didn't just show up. She arrived. She beat Madison Keys. She beat IGA Swiatek. Let me remind you, the world number 2 at the time. She reached the semifinals as a wild card. That week in Miami wasn't just a hot streak. It was a statement. It proved that her live ranking of 43 isn't a fluke. She has beaten the women who live in the top 10. Then came the grass court season. The final at Eastbourne. Making a final on grass, a surface that requires experience and reflex, showed her versatility. She isn't just a clay court grinder from the Nadal Academy anymore. She is an all-court threat. She won a WTA 125 title in Guadalajara. She cracked the top 100, then the top 75, then the top 50, and now rank 43. It has been a relentless, methodical march up the mountain. She has improved her serve speed. She has beefed up her forehand. Her defensive skills, always her strength, have morphed into offensive defense. She turns defense into attack better than almost anyone in her age group. The live ranking today is simply the scorecard catching up to reality of her level. She has been playing top 50 tennis for 6 months. Now, the number next to her name finally reflects it. What rank 43 means for the future. So, what does number 43 actually do for Alex Eala? Why does this number matter? It's all about access. Direct entry. At rank 43, she is guaranteed direct entry into every Grand Slam. Roland Garros, Wimbledon, U.S. Open. No more qualifying. No more hoping for wild cards. She is in. WTA 1000s. She gets into the main draws of Indian Wells, Miami, Madrid, Rome. These are the tournaments with the big points and the big money. Seeding. She is inching closer to being seeded at Grand Slams. There are 32 seeds. She is at 43. A couple of good runs in February, and she could be a seeded player at the French Open. That protects her from playing a Swiatek or a Sabalenka in the first round. This is the virtuous cycle of tennis. Higher ranking equals easier draws initially, which equals more wins, which equals higher ranking. She has broken out of the vicious cycle of the lower tier. She has escaped the gravity of the ITF circuit. She is now in orbit. The next target? Top 30, then top 20. But for now, rank 43 is a massive, massive victory. It validates the sacrifices of her family, the coaching of the Rafa Nadal Academy, and the unwavering support of the Filipino people. As we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a breath and look at the big picture. The Australian Open is still going on. The courts in Melbourne are still heating up. But for Alex Eala, the singles campaign is over. And yet, she leaves Australia a winner. She leaves with a career-high ranking. She leaves with the knowledge that she can bagel a top 100 opponent on a Grand Slam court. She leaves knowing that she has the biggest fan base in the sport waiting for her to succeed. The ranking of number 43 is a snapshot in time. It might fluctuate. She might drop a spot next week. She might gain 2. That is the nature of the beast. But the trajectory is undeniable. The arrow is pointing up. To the fans disappointed by the first-round loss, don't be. The loss is a lesson. The ranking is the reality. Alex Eala is just 20 years old. Most players don't peak until their mid-20s. We are watching the prologue of a very long book. So what is next? She will likely head to the Middle East swing, Doha, Dubai, big hard-court tournaments. She will take the lessons from Melbourne, the sting of that third set against Parks, and she will channel it. The whole world is surprised today, but soon they won't be surprised anymore. They will be expecting it. And that is the next challenge for Alex Eala. Shifting from the underdog story to the heavyweight contender, we will be here covering every step of that journey. We will be tracking the points, the matches, and the history as it happens. This is a great day for Asian tennis. It is a historic day for the Philippines. Alexandra Eala, world number 43. Let that sink in. If you enjoyed this deep dive analysis, if you want to stay updated on every single movement of Alex Eala's ranking and career, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. We don't just read the scores here. We tell the story behind the score. From the studio, signing off. Keep believing. The best is yet to come. Good night and God bless.